Welcome on into the podcast. I'm Brett.
I'm Dorian.
We got some nerd news for you guys.
We do indeed. So we're going to be talking about the Mortal Kombat movie. We're going to be talking about Captain America 4, a possible Knights of the Old Republic remake. But first things first, for a while there, it seemed like we didn't know if Batman was going to be returning. It's a done deal.
He's here.
He's coming
Yep.
back. Michael Keaton is going to be coming back in the Flash movie, continuing the trend
Yep.
of this next phase of DC movies having the in front of the title and all that. So yeah,
Right.
I mean, good news, and um, I mean, yeah, basically there was a little bit of um, kind of like a, what do you want to call it? Like news that he might not come back because of COVID and like COVID concerns, uh, which we I think you and I were kind of on the same page with. We're like, okay, for real, but no, it's
Yeah.
officially official. It's about time it became official. I just hope that they bring Bale back.
Yeah. So we got Ben Affleck, we got Michael Keaton, and then maybe a Bale coming. So obviously this is Flashpoint. We'll see what else happens. It would be interesting, I think, if like if they do something where they flip something on us, like if Michael Keaton's playing Thomas Wayne in the alternate Batman type thing, that'd be kind of cool. Something like that, or even Affleck for that matter, because he could do that. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
there's a lot of things that. I mean, obviously this is good. Kind of stupid he even said anything in the first place. I think when it comes to the COVID stuff, because like
yeah,
it's done and over. Like if that's your concern, then move to China and get your passport and let the government rule over you. But it's we're out of this, so he needs to go with the times, I guess. But
well, especially considering how studios and productions have found ways to work around COVID and work within like state
yeah,
guidelines
yeah,
or the local guidelines. Or there are
yep.
ways to
There's
do
ways to
it
do it.
here. So
Yeah,
yeah, and I mean, let's be frank. Michael Keaton is at that Hollywood status where he's talking with the Illuminati. He's got the Fountain of Youth going on here,
true.
or the immortality
Yep.
serum. So yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Bane Batista may be on his way. So Dave Batista has recently said he's reached out to Warner Bros. And DC. He wants to play Bane in the next live action adaptation. Says it's one of his dream roles. I honestly, personally, I think it'd be fine.
Yep.
You obviously think otherwise, but yeah, I think this would be kind of cool. Obviously, we're not going to have Tom Hardy back
No.
because it's a whole different universe, and so I think it'd be a good choice. But I want them to. He'd have to be CG for me. I want I want a big Bane. I don't want like a
Right.
normal dude. I want it to be CGI.
Right.
Or someone like I don't know, a strongman, basically.
Right. I
So
mean, and that's my point exactly, because I mean, here's the thing.
I think
Dave
he
Bautista.
could play him. I think he could play him, but it'd
Yeah.
have to be CGI.
Well, I mean, the thing is like, he's jacked and all that, but I mean, he's not like huge like how Bane is in the comics. Like, you know,
Yeah,
I mean, and here's the thing: we've kind of already had that version of Bane for the most part with Tom Hardy, and I even said it in our
yeah,
Dark Knight Rises throwback here that I honestly wish that Tom Hardy didn't play Bane. I actually would have liked somebody like the Mountain from Game of Thrones, or somebody who's huge, like he stands over people
yeah,
kind of thing, to play Bane, because I mean
mhm,
that's kind of what he is in the comics. He's this huge hulking guy
yeah,
that when he enters a room, everybody pays attention basically. So I mean
yeah.
that's basically
I
what
think
I
it'd be
want for
cool if they,
Bane.
a lot of the Yeah, a lot of the some of the comic runs, and I don't know if it's in the animated series. I can't remember, but basically, he is he's a pretty big dude, but then he hits the
He gets the
Venom
juice. Yeah.
thing, and he becomes huge. So I think that would be kind of cool if they did something like that, where it was like it actually at some point in the movie he just does too much and he becomes like this hulking brute, basically. But we'll
Yeah.
see.
We'll see.
You know, in other news, Spider-Man movies will be coming to Disney Plus,
Yeah.
but it'll be after a time on Netflix. So, we're gonna get them all on Disney Plus eventually. It's just gonna take some time. So,
Yeah, for those of you who may not remember, a couple of weeks ago we were reported on that the latest MCU Spider-Man movies they are going to be on Netflix, and they made basically Sony and Netflix made a deal to get them on there for a period of time, like it could be almost up to
yeah,
4 years. But yeah, now we have confirmation that they will be coming to Disney Plus. I mean, which at least it's happening. Then you can actually get the full MCU library in one place. So yeah, so at least it's happening. So who
yeah,
knows when it will happen? Because technically, um, Netflix doesn't have like exclusivity to uh to the Spider-Man movies in their contract. So it might be sooner than 4 years. We'll
yeah,
see. Fingers crossed.
yeah. This week we also got a Shang-Chi. Is it Shang-Chi I don't know.
I
We
think
got
that's how
that
you say it.
trailer for that new Marvel movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought it looked okay. I wasn't like blown away by it. It's
Yeah.
definitely um doesn't feel normal MCU to me, and so I can't remember. I'd have to rewatch it. The guy that's playing the Mandarin, is that the same dude that played Shang Tsung?
I don't think so.
Okay, I can't remember. I mean, maybe it was the MK trailer I saw, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it's that dude from The Dark Knight."
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't. It probably isn't, but I thought it looked fun. I'm glad they're introducing the Mandarin. He's a pretty big player in the MCU. I'm surprised he wasn't. I mean, he was fake introduced
Right. In Iron
back
Man
in Iron
3.
Man 3, and so we got that whole thing. But this is supposedly the real Mandarin,
Hmm.
and Shang-Chi is his son. And so I never read Shang-Chi comics, so I could not tell you if that's actually what it is in the comic or not, but
Yeah.
it definitely looks like a martial arts type of movie to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty much in agreement with you pretty much on all points. And even like with the familiarity on Shang-Chi, like I didn't even know who that character even was until they announced that he had his own movie that was going to be coming out in phase 4. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, definitely does not look like your typical MCU Marvel movie here. This looks a lot more like a kung fu movie, just maybe with a little bit of MCU sprinkled in there. But it seems a lot smaller scale compared to like, previous Marvel movies here. It just doesn't seem like there's like these really
Yeah,
big action set pieces. At least that's what the trailer seemed to imply. That could all be just maybe they're just playing their cards close to the chest, but we'll see.
yeah. Yeah, Zeus will be in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Hmm.
So a couple weeks, like last week or the week before, I can't remember.
Somewhere around
Reported
there.
that Kurt Russell was going to be have a fun cameo. Turns out he's going to be playing Zeus, King of the Gods, basically in the upcoming Thor sequel.
All
And
right.
this comes from
Wow.
comicbook.com. So yeah, we'll see where this goes.
All right, real quick. Kurt Russell was already in Marvel. He was Ego. This is Russell
Oh,
Crowe.
sorry, Russell
Yeah,
Crowe. My bad.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So Russell Crowe will be Thor. Um, but
Zeus.
yeah, yeah. Gosh dang it. Yes, Zeus. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, the other lightning god guy person thing, but yeah,
yep, yeah.
yeah. Again, like going back a couple weeks ago, this was just said to be a cameo. I kind of feel like it's going to be a little bit more than a cameo when you got Russell Crowe involved, and also you're bringing in the character Zeus into the comics here. I mean, it could just be a cameo, but I'm I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that
Yeah,
it might
I
not
don't
be.
know because yeah, I don't know enough about Thor and the whole gods thing when it
Mhm.
comes to Marvel.
Yeah,
I thought Thor basically was like in a way the Zeus, or Odin at least, was the Zeus of
yeah,
uh of the MCU. So this to me is kind of odd. I don't know. We'll see what happens with it, but
yeah. Well,
um,
I mean, in
sure.
uh in the comics, I know they did like have Greek gods and all that. Like Hercules was a guy and all that. He was like an Avenger at one point. Um, so I'm assuming just based on that. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of knowledge on that front, but I'm assuming based just on
Yeah.
that the Greek gods are a player in the Marvel universe as far as comics go, and it looks like it's going to
Well, they
be
are now. So
they are now. So,
yeah.
but
Uh, Amelia Clark is set to join the Secret Invasion. That just came out this last week. We have
yep.
no idea who she's going to be playing. I mean, I think for me, it was a matter of time. She seems like a pretty high profile actress to not have in the MCU, and now with them going into Phase 5, they're kind of going to be scrambling for people who
Mhm.
haven't been a part of it to be a part of it now in these new roles that they're establishing. So
Yeah, I mean
yeah,
the big question is who she's going to play, because I mean an actress with her notoriety,
yeah,
I don't think is going to be just a simple like one and done character per se, because I mean
no,
she doesn't have any like thing as big as Game of Thrones going on for her right now. So I think she probably has to find the next big thing. And I think her uh you know getting
whoa,
tied up
hold
with the
up.
MCU.
What if she's Rogue? What if she's Rogue? What
I
if
mean,
there were rumors a while ago like that? How they're going to introduce the X Men was in Captain Marvel. So what I'm thinking is
yeah,
Captain Marvel 2, and then maybe Secret Invasion are kind of maybe the same thing. I don't
like
know. Maybe
yeah,
she's
kind
coming
of
to Secret Invasion
intersecting
instead.
basically. Yeah,
Yeah, because I
possibly,
could totally see her as a rogue character. If not rogue, then a villain. You know?
possibly, yeah. I'm just actually just waiting for her to replace Amber Heard and Aquaman 2, like the rumors have kind of speculated. Because for one, that'd be kind of cool for her and Jason Momoa to have a reunion, because people
Yeah,
forget Jason Momoa was in Game of Thrones there a long time ago. So,
yeah,
but
yeah. We'll see what happens with her. But
we'll
apparently, there's
see.
nothing happening with Stranger Things.
Yeah, no
So
kidding.
uh, we might not get Stranger Things season 4 till 2022. Which when did the last season come out? Was that
Summer,
2019?
yeah, summer of 2019.
So yeah, we're gonna be looking at 3 years removed from season 3, basically, and these kids are not getting younger. I want to say they're probably 18 years old now, 17, right around
Probably.
there.
I just saw what's Eleven's real name?
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah. I saw her in Godzilla versus King Kong a couple weeks back, and I mean she still looks like she could pass for high school, but definitely not middle school or anything remotely resembling that. But I mean, yeah, it's I really don't understand this delay personally, just because you look at another Netflix show like The Witcher, which came out December of 2019, and they took last year off, and they've even had struggles like having to shut down production due to COVID and blah blah blah. But they're coming out with they finished filming. They're coming out with a new season by the end of the year here. So they've had less time to actually shoot the series and all that, and they're still going to be outpacing Stranger Things in terms of like a release date. So I don't get this, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So
No, the only thing I can see is if they're behind already and the goal was to have it coincide with a holiday, which it usually does. At least last
typically,
season did, and I
well,
think yeah,
the
so like
Halloween season, yeah, season 2,
yeah. Yep,
yeah,
season 2 and 3. I don't think 1 did necessarily, I can't remember,
nah,
but that's kinda been the theme for the last 2 seasons, and I think there were rumors of it being a Christmas kinda themed one, so I can
yeah,
see, him saying that if he didn't if he's unsure if they'll get done before Christmas.
yeah.
Uh, to me, it's like, you should be able to do that because they gotta be close to done, if not done filming that thing.
Well, if you remember, like, I want to say it's been like about a year ago when we got that teaser of
Oh, I remember
Hopper
that, yeah. He's
in
alive.
yeah, in Russia, bald and all that. So I mean, they've been working on this here, and I mean, I'm sure COVID has slowed them down in some way, shape, or form. But again,
Couldn't have been that much, couldn't have
it
been
could
that
have
much.
been this much to the point where they can't release this thing. It does
Yeah.
not make a whole lot of sense. So
Yeah, honestly, like, it's been so long where I'm like, if it doesn't come out, it doesn't come out, you know? Like, I
it,
I don't know, it's just been there's such a hype train around it, and I don't nobody talks about Stranger Things anymore.
not
So, I'm
now,
interested to
no,
see, what happens with that, but let's talk
yeah,
about some hype trains because there might be a little bit of hype building around the Mortal Kombat franchise.
yeah,
The actor who played Baihan, aka Sub Zero, said he signed on for 4 movies, and apparently this also stretches out to spin-offs, which there's reportedly a Johnny Cage spin-off movie in, like, I don't know if it's in production or they've confirmed that there's potentially, like, if MK does well, like the movie, there's gonna be a Johnny Cage spin-off, which I'm like, just make it Mortal Kombat 2. Like, I don't want a full movie with Johnny Cage, but
yeah,
um so we'll talk about that a little bit later, but this is interesting that I mean, it makes sense if you got a big franchise like Mortal Kombat,
yeah.
you want to lock your actors down for as long as possible in case it is successful. So,
Yeah. No, I mean, we'll be talking more on Mortal Kombat in detail later on in the show. Um, I mean, yeah, I mean, 4 movies definitely seems a little ambitious, like right out the gate, just because you're still waiting on the success of the first movie and seeing how that turns out, which, you know, I mean,
yeah.
but I mean, hopefully it all comes to fruition here. So,
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. Speaking of fruition as
Mhm.
well, Captain America 4 is now on its way,
Mhm.
and it's going to have the showrunner for Falcon Winter Soldier. Uh, he's going to be a part of it. So are the writers. And
Yeah.
so, and then another writer, I can't remember who else they said, but basically the team that ran Falcon Winter Soldier is making the Cap 4 movie, which
Yeah.
is fine. And we'll talk about that more later as
Y-
well.
Right.
Uh, I just hope they don't include specific things that this whole this the culmination of the show was about. Basically,
Yeah.
uh, it's going to be interesting to have a Captain America movie without the real not that Sam isn't Captain America, but
But
Chris
Steve
Evans
Rogers.
yeah, Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how this goes. They basically announced it kind of like Book of Boba Fett, like basically right after the last episode aired is like, oh yep, this is coming out too. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks Disney. So
I mean, I am most certain that we'll see Bucky show up in this, and I'm sure we'll see Sharon Carter and probably U.S.
oh
Agent
yeah,
show up in
yeah.
this. Which I mean, we'll
I'm
talk about that.
guessing
We'll
yeah,
talk
it's just
about
a
all those things.
platform.
Yeah.
It's just another thing. Like this show is just a platform to set that up, I think. So
I think you
yeah.
are correct. Yeah. But I mean, I would normally be okay with like an announcement like this. But I do have some reservations, and like I said, we'll talk about it when we go in depth on Falcon Winter Soldier's finale.
Yeah. Discord's staying independent. So there was conversation of a buyout from Microsoft, but apparently they're not going to be going along with that. So, they're still open to being bought out potentially in the future, I guess. But,
Yeah,
I think I'm fine with it.
I mean, here's the thing: Discord works just fine the way it is. I don't feel like there's really much need to change the winning formula that they got going on right now. So I think this is all probably for the best. In all honesty, I don't really see Microsoft actually contributing to making the service better or Discord's success per se. And matter of fact, I think they would do just quite the opposite. I think they would probably try to get in the way of something and make it suck, or something along those lines.
Yeah, no. We'll see what happens. But I mean, to me, it's like, yeah, why would you? Why? I mean, I understand maybe the people that run it are just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to sell it. But maybe it wasn't the right fit with Microsoft. So,
Yeah,
um, but yeah, Knights of the Old Republic is getting a remake, maybe. So there's been reports of something going on with the Knights of the Old Republic franchise, I guess. And so, according to Bloomberg, the studio Spire, who's recently been doing ports of old Star Wars games, is in like the making of doing this game. So
yeah.
I don't know. I think that this is interesting. Now, are they? I think the online game's been going on for a while now, but
Oh yeah, the
I'm
Old Republic.
yeah. So hopefully it's completely. There's nothing to do with that, and that this is just 1 and 2 that they're going to remake.
Yeah,
Hopefully it's from the ground up because that the fighting in those games suck.
yeah. They
Real
they
bad.
they have not aged well, to say the
No.
least. I mean, not for 2021. Now, I mean, it's kind of weird that the studio that's just been handling ports is being trusted the keys to the kingdom for essentially a what will probably hopefully be the definitive edition of this classic game. Like it's one of the best games of all time here. Um, but
Yeah. It makes
I
me
mean,
definitely think that this is going to be a port versus a remake.
that's what like this whole like yeah, like with that being said, like if I was just to hear this studio that's making ports of old Star Wars games from the PS2 original Xbox era, um, working on something KOTOR related. I'm like, oh, okay, they're just going to port over KOTOR or something like that. But apparently,
Right.
it's supposed to be a full blown remake, which I definitely think that game most certainly deserves for one. Um, and I'm hoping that they can like find a good balance with the combat. Kind of like make it modernized, but don't like everything that about it modernized, but don't take away what was great or what really worked about it. And
Yeah.
we've been hearing stuff about KOTOR making a comeback for over a year now. I want to say we've heard just like rumors and all sorts of stuff about something happening, and this is, I think, probably like the first thing we've heard in a while. So we're overdue for something KOTOR related. So make it happen. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Cyberpunk apparently has decent sales numbers. And so
Yeah,
that's what we're going to be talking about next. Weirdly enough, sales numbers have been revealed for their latest CD Projekt Red's latest game. 13.7 million copies sold in 2020. 30,000 copies were refunded, costing the company about 2.23 million.
yeah. I mean,
Well, pin a rose on their nose because they did okay, I guess.
apparently, yeah. I mean, I I was actually kind of surprised by this because I figured with how quickly things went downhill for them, like in terms of like press and PR and all this stuff um, for Cyberpunk, that I didn't think they would they sold like 13 million copies and all that, and like I figured they would have refunded a lot more than 30,000 copies, to be honest with you. But
30,000. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but you know, hey, I mean, I guess if you got, you know, roughly 13 million people that are happy with their game, they're happy with their game, and, you know, have at
Sure.
it. But I mean, just please fix the game so I can actually get around to playing it sometime. I would appreciate that, and I think everybody else would too.
Sure. Something I heard today, and I didn't put this in the show notes, but apparently, the Snyder Cut didn't pull in as much as they thought would.
Yeah, I was reading.
So I think it pulled in like 2 million subscribers, which is like a
Not
fraction of what Wonder Woman pulled in.
yeah, like
So
I was reading about that too. Like it was like for the month of between like March and April, they're looking at like the performance for King Kong versus Godzilla and Snyder Cut, and yeah, only about like 2 more million subscribers actually popped up, which I mean I don't know, man. I didn't figure Snyder Cut would draw the crowd just because that's more of a niche thing.
yeah, totally.
But yeah, I am kind of surprised by that. I mean, so who knows? I mean, maybe like when like something like bigger in scope like Suicide Squad or Dune comes out, maybe those numbers might go up. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, that's it for new nerd news. We're gonna head into our roundtable review. Dorian, tell us what we have to look forward to.
Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat. So yeah, we actually just watched this movie together last night here. So we're talking about it. We might get into a little bit of spoiler territory. I mean, it's not going to be major spoilers per
It'll for
se.
sure be some. Yeah, it won't be major, but there'll definitely be spoilers. So
Yeah. So just be aware.
yeah.
But let's just kind of start with our overall feelings. That way, if people want to skip ahead and all that. I actually
Yeah.
really like this movie. I mean,
Yeah, me too.
yeah. So, but you want to go on the details on this
Sure.
movie here. You got some notes I see you got going on here.
Oh yeah, do you want me to talk about that now, or do you want to talk about our opinions first?
I mean,
I
I
could
was
talk
just
about
gonna,
that. All right.
yeah,
I'll just talk
yeah,
about it.
sure,
I'll just talk about it. All right. So, spoilers for if you don't want to know what characters are in this movie
yeah,
or the basic plot. So, nothing
yeah.
crazy, but what I thought was interesting is only a $50 million budget for this movie, which is pretty nuts.
I mean, they did
Pretty
a
low
lot.
for. They did a lot with it. You can't really blame them for. There's a couple little things with CGI, but other than that, I thought it was super solid. But
Yeah,
anyway, it follows Cole Young, who is a washed-up MMA fighter, not a character from past games, completely original. So, spoiler for that. I thought he was potentially Takeda for a while,
yeah,
and so I thought that might have been what was going on, but it did not pan out that way. But basically, it's about Earth's chosen champions assembled to defend Earth from getting invaded from Shang Tsung and his forces. They have won the last 9 Mortal Kombat tournaments and only need one more flawless victory to have free reign over Earthrealm. Now, so basically, our fighter, it's interesting. So this movie actually doesn't have a Mortal Kombat tournament in it. This is like a prequel to the Mortal Kombat tournament, which I thought was kind of cool. Something
kind of.
different. Yeah, so they definitely fight people in it, but it's not the sanctioned tournament. So I'm guessing
That
that's going to be MK. That's going to be the second movie if it
right.
gets made. But so Earth's fighters include Cole, obviously, and Cole is kind of this. He's basically the audience. He's us
Yeah.
discovering what this Mortal Kombat world's all about. He
Mm-hmm.
has a wife and a daughter, and he's just a normal dude, and
Yeah.
so and then we also have Kano, Jax, Sonya Blade, Liu Kang, Kung Lao, and Scorpion. So those are kind of the good guys, if you want to call them that, in this movie.
Yeah.
And then you got
The
the Earth Warriors, yeah.
yeah, Earth Realm fighters. Yeah.
Then you got Outworld. So you got Sub Zero. Obviously, it's like Team Sub Zero versus kind of Team Scorpion.
Yeah.
ish, you know. So you got Natara, who has like these wings and flies around. I didn't really know her very well.
Yeah,
Melina,
what game is she from? Because is she
she's
like
from an
from
obscure game. She's not from any of the main lines.
Okay, yeah, because
Yeah,
I was about I know the roster pretty well for the most part, and
yeah.
I yeah, I was yeah, I was trying to peg her and like figure out like is she new? Is she original? Like who is she, you know? But anyhow,
Yeah. And then he got Melina. She's, Melina.
classic.
Cabal, Kano. Yeah. Kano's in there twice.
Yeah,
Watch the movie.
yeah.
You
Ryko.
got Raiko and Goro.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting. I honestly did not like about half the picks for the Outworld team. I didn't like Natara. I thought she was a waste of a character.
Wow.
I didn't like Raiko. Like he could have been what who did you say he was? Shao
I
Kahn, right?
I thought he was Shao Kahn at
Yeah,
first just
he should have been Shao Kahn.
well,
Like he definitely should have been in my opinion.
but at the same time, like with the role that Raiko is playing, it'd be weird for Shao Kahn to be that, just because Shao Kahn is like he's like the guy that steps in uh, after Shang Tsung gets defeated for the most part here and becomes the next big
Right,
bad.
but I mean he didn't have to die necessarily or whatever, but like,
True.
you could have had him be that character in something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then yeah, obviously we had Goro, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um so the pickup of the story basically is how basically the champions come together. Like how that even works is Sub Zero's hunting down Earth's champions, the ones marked with the dragon marking. Those are kind of the ones that have been chosen and get these special abilities to fight in Mortal Kombat and be the
Yeah.
representatives for Earth Realm. Now it's interesting. What do they call it? Is it Akara?
Arcana.
Arcana is like they do a good job, I think, of explaining how these powers can kind of they only come to the people with the dragon marking, so those are the only people with these special powers.
Yeah, and
So I thought that was kind of cool, and they can
they
be
can be
taken
taken
away.
away. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you get killed by someone who doesn't have the dragon symbol, you get the dragon symbol, and then
Yeah.
you get powers. So I thought that was a pretty cool way of explaining it without it just being like, oh yeah, Earth people can just have special powers. It's like no.
Yeah.
So I thought that was explained well. The the champions so like the main guys that you kind of follow a little bit are Cole, Sonya Blade, and Kano for a little bit, and then they try to find Lord Raiden. There have been rumors, and apparently Kano knows how to get there from his Black Dragon days, I think is what it's called. And then they basically run into Liu Kang, who tells them, "Hey, you guys come with me. We're gonna go train." And then basically those champions need to kind of awaken their powers from within. So
Yeah.
then you get like some training and then fights. Basically, that's the pretty much the whole movie.
Pretty much.
Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, and honestly, for me, do you want me to go first, or do you want to go
No,
first on
no,
what we
you go
thought?
first. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
So for me, this was a great movie, and I would say it's going to be a great movie for anyone who likes the Mortal Kombat franchise. If you
Yeah.
don't like Mortal Kombat, you will not like this movie. I'm just
Probably
going to
not.
put a disclaimer out there. Because I personally think knowing the characters from the games adds a lot more to the movie for you. So
It does. Yeah.
the only thing I really would have done differently is I would have spent more time on Cole,
Hmm.
kind of developing him a little less than the others, and I would have had them already kind of established rather than gaining their powers in the
Yeah.
movie, which they kind of did for the most part because Liu Kang and Kung Lao already have their
Yeah.
powers and met up with Kano, Sonya, Cole, and then Jax comes in later, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
love love. Oh yeah,
Real
go
quick
ahead.
on that front on Cole. I did like how they incorporated him into the lore of Mortal
Yeah,
Kombat. I thought that was
totally.
actually a pretty smart way of like, bridging the gap here for the most part of like
Yeah,
original and like, pulling stuff from the game here.
yeah, and I guess we could talk about that a little bit too if you want. But basically, Cole is a descendant of Scorpion,
Yeah.
of what's his name?
Hanzo
Uh
Sashi.
Hanzo Hasashi. Yeah, there we go. So he's a descendant, and basically the only reason we get Scorp in this movie is because he's able to summon him with his blood, basically.
Yeah.
So well, that was pretty cool, and that's a cool fight. But yeah, I wish they would have spent a little bit more time on him. But loved all the fighting, especially when they would use like MK link, like Mortal Kombat lingo, such as
Oh,
like flawless victory and like
finish
uh
him.
test your might when Liu Kang says that in the training grounds. I thought was dope.
Yep. Yep.
And then we had finish him, fatality, and all those other kind of cheesy lines, which totally
Kano
worked for
wins.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. For like the over the top gore fest.
Yeah.
And something that we could talk about too. Kano kind of stole the show in a lot of ways.
I mean,
He he
he
was the
was
comic
definitely
relief. He was funny.
very much so. Yeah.
He did a straight up like I think it was I don't know if it was MK which Mortal I think it's Mortal Kombat 1 when he kills Reptile. He
Yeah.
did a
It's
straight up fatality where he rips his
yeah.
heart out.
No, I think
It was pretty cool. So
pretty much like I think most of the fatalities in this movie are for the most part like either original or pretty close to like original fatalities. Like I know Liu Kang's. I think that's like I'm pretty sure that's like based off of Mortal Kombat 2, but he like turns into a dragon, but it's a
yeah,
variation of it. So
right. Yeah. But yeah, I loved all that stuff. The fighting was great. I probably honestly would have added about 20 more minutes to this movie, made the fights a little bit longer. Added extra exposition when it comes to Cole. And even maybe the training stuff. Maybe I would have cut that down. I don't know how I feel about it. I have to watch it again. But
yeah,
Kung Lao had my favorite fatality, and it
yep.
it's just so good. And even what he said, flawless victory type of thing, because
Yeah, no,
she didn't even
it's still
touch him. Like,
yeah, it's like his fatality definitely stole the show for sure.
yeah,
Like best fatality in the movie. I don't think it's really even I don't
no,
feel like it's a
I
question.
I would say Scorpions is pretty cool. Kano's is pretty cool. But other than that, yeah, I mean, Kung Lao's was, Liu Kang. All of them were cool except Kung Lao stood above the rest.
Oh, big time.
So we get to Johnny Cage kind of thing where
Yeah.
after all is said and done, so basically, the Earthrealm people are like Raiden sends them out to fight people one on one because that's going to be their only way of kind of competing with them uh, on a where they can actually beat them, and so you know uh, at their task at the end because they know the Mortal Kombat fight is going to happen soon. They need to get more champions, and Johnny Cage had like there's like a poster that teased that he was going to be the one because Cole's headed to
Duh.
Hollywood to
Yep.
recruit. So pretty cool. I'm excited to see who they actually bring in for the next movie. I can see them bringing
Please,
a couple in, but
please bring in John Claude
it's
Van
not happening.
Damme. Don't you say what
He's
you're
too old,
saying.
dude. He's like 90
I
years old.
like how
It
meta
would
would
be
it
cool.
be?
It would be
How
pretty
meta
cool.
would it be? It would be so cool.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
would like it.
yeah. Is all you got for your thoughts on the movie?
Yeah, for the most part, I mean, there's like I would say there's a little bit of pacing issues with the middle of the movie. Like the first 20 minutes super solid.
Yeah,
Like like basically when Sub-Zero's hunting everyone down, that was so dope. Like when he's
that
going
was
through the
dope.
streets and he's fighting different people and he rips off, Jack's arms basically.
Yeah, I mean it's in the
Uh
trailer.
yeah, it's super. That was all dope. I thought the movie in a general sense was just really fun, really good. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm right there with you. I really like this movie. I would say, I mean, granted, haven't seen too many new movies this year, so this is probably going to be the best movie I've seen this year so far. Um, in all honesty, I think this might be the best video game movie I have ever seen. Just because, I mean, granted,
yeah, pretty
that's not a
solid.
very high bar to clear for the most part. I mean, but I think,
No,
but I think this is like I think this is how you adapt video game movies. I think this is like this needs to be the formula, the textbook, or the playbook, whatever you want to call it. Because what this movie did is it takes what people actually like about the games and what makes them iconic here. They keep that stuff, so you get the fatalities, the gore, the fight scenes, and all that, and you get a movie version of what you get in the games here, and it actually translates very well. You keep the characters like the way that they are handled in the games and their motivations pretty much the same. Like I didn't feel like there was like one point in time when I was like watching this movie, I'm like, that's not something that Jax would do, or that's not something that Kano would do, or Kung Lao or Liu Kang. So I was like, okay, yeah, they actually nailed the characters. Um, they also throw in a bunch of Easter eggs in there. That way and references. That way
Yeah.
that way the fans are just, are they'll get it and they'll be glad that it's there. And then you just write the original like stuff for the movie to just kind of help bridge the gaps between the stuff that you're trying to connect here. Not necessarily like you know you like have the original story and then use like the stuff from the video games to help bridge the gaps for the original story per se or what have you. So I think by and large absolutely knocked it out of the park in terms of adapting this. And the fight choreography and the action scenes, they were on point. I
Yeah.
really have no
Yeah.
complaints on that front.
For
The
sure.
only things I really have complaints about is uh the Arcana. So I mean, they talk about it and explain it a little bit, but it's kind of weird when like Jax basically gets better robot arms out of it. It's kind of like a I don't know. It's kind of a weird type thing just because you got guys who have fireballs, you got guys who have like lasers coming out of their eyes, guys that you know create like this suit and weapons and all that, and then it's like, okay, yeah, this is just giving you better technology that you already have. It's kind of a weird thing in my opinion, but I'm not gonna hold it to I'm not going to hold it over its head all that much, but and then it's not really a tournament, like even though they were really like alluding to it for the most part
Yeah.
throughout the movie,
Yeah. It's a
like and
prequel essentially to the first tournament.
kind of, I mean, essentially what happens is like they're training for the tournament, but Outworld essentially cheats and is trying to like take out the competition before the tournament can
Yeah.
even begins. So then they start
Yep.
saying, okay, well, if
Right.
they're doing it, we'll do it. Let's go. Let's just keep going. Let's teleport to the places that they're at, fight them one on one, mano y mano, and just get it done. So, and that's kind of where you get like
Yeah.
this this like fight montage of like you go to like some places like in from the games where like the one that stands out of my mind is where Jax and Raiko fight. It's that bridge that
Yep.
has like the spikes
Yep.
underneath and all that. But overall, I would give
Yeah.
this movie an 8. I'm very interested to see where they go next, and yeah, I definitely think that if this actually does well, I think you could see a lot
Right.
more people who are trying to adapt video games follow this format.
Yeah. I hope it does well because this is like you said, kind of. It's a well done video game movie,
Yes.
and an R-rated video game movie, not just like PG-13. Like this was a hard R rating when
Yeah.
it comes to the gore and stuff. It had to be.
Big time.
I would agree with you. I'd say this is like a solid 8 for me as well. The only thing that was kind of weird to me, and I get it because it's supposed to be, like I said, kind of a prequel to the first Mortal Kombat tournament that these characters are in. It
Yeah.
alludes to obviously there's obviously been other Mortal Kombat tournaments where
Right.
Earthrealm hasn't turned out so well, except for when the OG Kung Lao won a tournament because the Kung Lao we get is a descendant of him and they talk in very high regard of him. So,
Yeah.
and I like that's why it's okay. My other gripe would be, and I'm okay with the gripe because I understand it.
Yeah.
Would be that Liu Kang wasn't the focus because he typically is, and he does
Typically.
become the first champion. So
Yeah.
I think we have to look forward to that in the first or second, or the second or third movie potentially, depending on how they do this.
Yeah.
Uh, and then yeah, so I thought overall really cool. Um, yeah, I'm excited for the next and entrance in the franchise, and I hope we get it. So go watch
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I might go see it in theaters by
Okay.
myself.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So next up on the docket, we got Falcon and Winter Soldier, episode 6. So this is the finale to season 1, possibly the series finale. We don't know. I mean,
yeah.
it kind of seems that way at this point. But
hmm
let's just kind of just start off and tell the audience what we thought. So you can go first.
All right. So pretty good episode in my opinion.
Mhm.
Pacing was a little bit off, but I kind of understand why the pacing was off. My fears from like the last few episodes kind of came to fruition. I've talked about it the last couple of weeks. Not really sure where the writing was going, what they were going to do in this episode, and it kind of just seemed rushed. I think it could have been fleshed out a little bit better with maybe another episode. So I just felt like it was a little bit rushed, but I
Yeah.
liked Falcon's new suit. Thought that was pretty dope.
It was pretty dope.
Fighting
Yeah.
fighting in action, I thought was pretty on point. John Walker was a surprise to me. I thought he was going to be very different.
Yeah.
Um, and so he kind of teams up with Falcon and Winter Soldier and tries to take down the Flag Smashers. And he's not like a total jerk. Basically, he's just
No.
pissed. Like he's just, I want to kill them. Like I want to take them out. And
Right.
so you see that he's kind of learned from what he did before, and he wants to make it right.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was kind of cool. I liked that a little bit. It made me actually like him a little bit more.
Sure.
Sharon Carter does not give an F.
She
Like
does not.
she when she throws that it's like this acid bomb into like a I
Yeah,
don't know
one of
what
the
you call it.
flag
Yeah, one of the
smashers.
flag smashers, and it literally melts his skin off.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. It is revealed that she is the power broker,
Yeah, which I mean,
which we kind of
I don't
called
th-
that.
I don't think anybody was really all that surprised by it.
Yeah.
In all
She gets a
honesty.
full pardon eventually because she helps out,
Yeah.
which she's been wanting, which she's only doing it to kind of screw over the military and get tech and intel and all that stuff. So she's super jaded.
Yeah.
Sam has like some crazy speech that lasts like 10 minutes, it feels like,
Yeah.
which I could have done without.
Yeah.
Bucky finished his list. Flag smashers are all dead, like we get
It seems
maybe.
that way.
I don't like any of the political crap that's in this episode, but overall, I'd say it's like a 7.8 for me.
Yeah.
I liked the fighting. I liked kind of the twists and turns that happened, but a
Yeah.
little bit rushed in my opinion. It could have been better. And I would give the series in a general sense like a solid 8 out of 10, maybe 8.5 out of 10. I'd have to go rewatch it again. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't remember what I gave WandaVision, but it's definitely higher than WandaVision in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no, I will agree. I think it is better than WandaVision by and large. And my thoughts on this episode, it was solid, by and large. I mean, I do feel like this was underwhelming for a finale. It didn't like completely like I don't feel like it blew me away like it should have here, And then, they pretty much tie up, all the loose ends with the exception of like what's going on with Walker because at the very end of the episode you see him
Yeah.
like make modifications to his suit where he's full on US agent basically. He's no longer
Yeah.
Captain America. He's not even trying to be Captain America. He's like, I'm my own thing now, working for Seinfeld lady. And we don't even know what exactly that's entailing or like what that's even looking like here. So we'll probably find out more
Right.
about that in
Yeah.
Captain America 4 along with Sharon Carter, which I mean, yeah, it's she like in terms of like she's fallen pretty far from like being introduced as Peggy Carter's niece and all that, like complete change of character. So she's she
For sure.
she pretty much got what she wanted for the most part in terms of like getting her old life back, but it's still not enough for her. She's still gonna use what she has and exploit it, and she's basically a villain at this point in time, it seems like. And And she
Yeah.
even orchestrated like a lot of the things with the flag smashers. Even had that one guy that Falcon was fighting uh, for about 5 minutes or however long it was. She was the one that sent him over to be recruited by the flag smashers. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, so I'm sure we'll probably get more on that in the future. My guess is it will be in Captain America 4, just because it seems like the best place to explore that. Carly's story, I just felt like it was pretty much aimless for the most part. Like it, I don't feel like I felt like it was trying to build up to something, never really did. Um, Walker's redemption just kind of felt unearned and just out of left field, just because they were just building him up just to be like, just resentful, angry, wanting to still hold on to the Captain America mantle and all that. He made a bootleg shield, for crying out loud, all just to like basically
Yeah.
say, yeah, I'm going to throw that aside. So I kind of felt like that could have used a little bit more retooling, or it shouldn't have like been been like a bait and switch, I guess. I don't know, but the action in this was pretty
Yeah.
good. I mean, you got a lot of cool fight scenes with especially like Sam and his new suit using the shield and his wings in combination with each other. So that was really cool. And this was Sam's episode through and through. I mean, like a lot of the focus, the
Yeah.
character development, him like having the big moments. Like this was his time to shine. And Bucky definitely got sidelined as a result, which I mean, you know, you kind of have to expect it. I'm not too mad about that, to be honest with you. And propaganda was very present in this movie, or this episode here.
Yeah.
Like I felt like Sam's speech could have been like something that like he could have been speaking for like the Democratic National Convention, for all I was aware of here. In all honesty,
Yeah. Basically.
I mean, yeah. So I'm like, okay, you guys are kind of being a little not exactly being coy with like which side of the aisle you're leaning on here. So
Yeah.
but overall, this episode probably a 7 at best, in all honesty. I mean, and talking about the series as a whole, I don't really feel like it's really lived up to the potential that I thought it could, because this was my most anticipated Marvel project out of Phase 4, and I just don't feel like it really delivered as like it should have here. I mean, it started out really solid, but then it got political, pacing started getting off, and then like the way they incorporated Zemo, like, and especially seeing how like
Yeah.
Zemo
It's
like
kind of weird.
has like how little impact Zemo actually does have on the show for the most part, I felt like was just really bad writing, especially considering how they bust him out of jail. He's continuously does things on his own terms, and like gives them like all the reasons of the world not for them not to trust him, and they still do here. So it's like, yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
and seeing how these guys are going to be bridging the gap from Falcon and Winter Soldier, and like working on Captain America 4, it's got me concerned, to be honest with you, just because if it's like, unless like you guys are going to learn the lessons and actually like make it less political, have better pacing, have better, like incorporate your villains better, or write your villains better, um I feel like Captain America 4 just might not be exactly what we want it to be.
Yeah, I agree. That's what kind of has me concerned for Captain America as well. I don't know, what's going to happen with that, or if they're going to bring another writer in, because I don't know if they could write a solid movie about it. But we'll see. I mean, a show's a little bit more difficult probably to make something cohesive, because there's so much more going on, so many more hours of film and all that stuff. So we'll see what happens. But
We shall see.
yeah, that's it, you guys. Thanks for listening. We greatly appreciate it. Check us out on all our social medias. Leave a comment, review, all that good stuff. Have an awesome week. And remember, everyone's a nerd about something.